The moment somebody drops the word spiritual or woo-woo, people say, I want proof. I need you to prove this to me. And today is going to be a mix of that, but I really just know that there's somebody who needs to understand the full process of what you're getting into with Money Mentality Makeover. This is my 4-ish year alumni review, 4.5, and this course has been a very unique experience for me. It's been a very specific behind the scenes, and I don't want to quantify this in a way where it dismisses my own journey, but I think that there's an authenticity that would be helpful if you are on the fence or really just wanting to understand if you're having the same experience as everybody else around you. Hopefully I can give you that in today's video. Now, if you were to ask me in the beginning of this journey if I thought, well, practically on paper, I want to go from making this amount of money to making this amount of money, that didn't happen by any means. So let's just get that out of the way. What I will say is that but if you're looking for a review that says, yeah, I was making this amount of money at the beginning of this, and this was my foundation for every single month, and now I make this, this is not that space. This has done a lot of change for me, and there's a lot that kind of had to happen differently for me, but I think that that's exactly what it's meant to do. I know that this has been everything that I've needed in my journey and what it's allowed me to create, and I think that if you're feeling drawn to this, and you're really leaning in with the curiosity and you're open to creating the change that you're meant to create. If you are new here, my name is Savannah. I am a content creator. I am not somebody who sells courses. I am not some entrepreneur. I am just a human being. This is the internet to share about the things that she loves, and storytelling is really where I lean. And I think that kind of answers the first question a lot of people have with Money Mentality Makeover is this only for business owners? Does this only work for me if I am entrepreneurial, if I'm going to launch something? Is that like the most important part of taking this course? Will it work for me if that's not who I am? And I have to say 100% you can be any kind of human being taking this course, and it will work for you. I think what I've learned and what I found really powerful, especially where I'm at my journey right now, is when you come to recognize that if you're an energetic match for a certain amount of money, the universe is always going to find a way to get it to you. And sometimes a lot of people will go with, okay, if you're an energetic match for something, you'll be given the guided action, and that'll allow you to create the thing that will allow the money to come to you. But that's not necessarily how it works. So a lot of people are unsure of signing up because they think, if I'm not somebody who's going to create something that would allow me to receive more money, how is this relevant for me? Why would this work for you? That is by no means the case. You are not an entrepreneur. Don't count yourself out. This can definitely do wonderful things for you. I know I did have a little chat with ChatGPT this morning to see what questions might be relevant for people who are new to this work, especially because when I'm filming this specific review, I know Real Housewives of Beverly Hills is filming, and so there are new eyes on Amanda and her world. I have been taking courses from her with her since 2020. I think I might have like peeped a little bit before then. The first course I took was Energy and Frequency of Money. And this is the part where I tell you right now the important things. If you are anyway curious about Money Mentality Makeover and you aren't on the wait list, get on the wait list. And it's not one of those things where you're like, why would I get on the wait list? It's not going to do anything for me. If you want to get a better deal, if you want to get the biggest discount, it's definitely a 3 to 4 figure discount. Typically, you are going to save some money. Get on the wait list. That being said, if you are somebody who's taken Drop the Money Struggle, Energy, Frequency of Money, or The Wealthy Woman, those all give you codes that you can apply as a discount to Money Mentality Makeover, so you never waste money in Amanda's world. She is somebody who's always been very diligent about taking care of her community, especially with how they're investing in themselves and knowing that money is always available to circulate. So if you've taken one of those courses, great, you should be getting coupon codes in your email for that. If not, I'm sure reach out to the team. But if you're not ready to invest in Money Mentality Makeover yet, because I'll do a little bit on the other courses as well, those are available I think they go on sale, so there might be like a discounted one, but I think you can buy a lot of them throughout the year regardless. And then I will link all of those in the description box below. But that means you can kind of start with it where you're at now, just whatever the best solution is for you. Go ahead and make sure that that's what you take. Don't worry about this having to be a certain thing. The biggest thing you'll learn throughout the process is you really have to understand that it's going to be unique for everyone. There's a lot that you're going to get from it, but you have to set that aside to understand your own individual needs, because that's really what's going to shift your reality. All right, I'm gonna quickly open the Amanda Frances app so you can kind of see everything. And as you can see, I am in quite a few things that I've invested in over the years, and I reach for different stuff at different times. So with Money Mentality Makeover, it will look a lot like this. And it will have all of the courses that you can all of the sections that go with it, all of the modules as they're added, and there's constantly things being added. There's stuff that I'm like, oh, I can't wait until she adds that in, because it's just the thing that I need. There are live videos that you'll hear throughout the year. It's always growing, and your investment's constantly growing in it. So you're investing in yourself, and then this investment is growing. It's always worth it. But the way I would say to do this, I think it's going to depend on how you kind of enter this scene. Is this only for spiritual people or people who have a spiritual experience? No. I think if you come from a spiritual background, or you're kind of more open to the idea of things that are not necessarily tangible, but there are forces happening all around you constantly, it'll feel a little bit easier to release some of the disbelief. But you don't have to have a spiritual background. I just think that a lot of people who tend to land in this world specifically are kind of open to that experience and the belief in something bigger and something that they haven't been able to see, but that connection, they kind of already feel it. It's already established with them. Go through the course in the way that kind of suits you. I think I was really that like type A. I want to learn everything. I'm going to be the best student possible. I'm going to focus in on everything. I'm going to do everything she tells me to do. Like, I wanted to make the most of this and to make sure that everything 100% worked out for me. And what I found throughout the process of doing this was that I clung to it so tightly for so long that I wasn't doing the things that I needed to do because they were outside of the scope of this course for me. So if you feel called to just listen to it and see what comes up for you, that's great. That's what I do now at this point. It's not something I reach for often. Maybe once a month I'll pop on a video and I'll just feel like there's something in my brain that I want to shift and see a different way. But I've learned for me that throughout the process of doing the storytelling side of things, that I actually just have to let the universe bring the new version of the story my way, because I'm still going to tell it from the most pain. I'm still going to tell it from the place that's healing. Those bigger possibilities are kind of unconceivable to me, and so I have to allow the universe to really partner with me and giving me the new perception of the thing. When it comes to listening and answering the questions and doing all the work, I like to use it now to kind of loosen things in my brain. I don't try to like pry everything out with every single question and like dissect myself in that way. And that might not be something that occurs to you. You might not think, okay, well, that's what I need to do. But I really took the course the first time. And even in the first 2 years, I really felt like I was trying to use it to mold my brain instead of letting it just help me hold the space and to help me shake off things that were no longer working for me. Like I said, the proof is there. It's very much there. There are tons of people in the course, in the community, that you'll see in the comments. Let me read a few for you. What kind of course is this really? What kind of experience am I signing up for? Consider this as definitely some therapy and self-development. I'd say more therapy than like self-development. There's the looking at the inner mindset work that you have around money and how you've been kind of taught to behave with certain things, the relationship you have with it, how that's impacted how you choose to spend, how you choose to feel when you do things. You'll start to notice stuff like, how do I feel when I go to use my card at the checkout? And you'll begin to understand, like, do I have scarcity with money? Am I fearful that at any point this won't go through? Do I feel safe and secure in my paycheck? Do I feel like money is always working for you? There's a lot of just, how have I been taught to believe about these things? How do I talk about it? How do I feel like I behave with it? You'll really begin to understand that you've already had a relationship with it. And the same with it, a lot of people, you know, we have a relationship with food, we have a relationship with our bodies, we have a relationship with kind of anything where we utilize it frequently and we have some kind of interaction with it consistently. There's something happening, and to whatever degree you will recognize that there are elements of this relationship that's probably not working for you and you're ready to change that. So it's mindset in that sense, but also in a therapy sense, and how do I hold less fear in my life, because maybe I didn't realize I had fear, but I also had fear around money. So it really allows you to kind of heal in that deeper sense of the way, because Amanda does have that background in therapy. Is it going to ask me to think differently about money or to become a different version of myself? I would say in the 4 years that I've been doing this, this is not necessarily that I've become a different version of myself. It's I've become a more relaxed version of myself. I've become somebody who's more at peace. I think a lot of times we have this expectation that more money means that we're gonna have more things on our plate, that we're gonna have more worries, that our life is suddenly gonna have more problems and be crazier and bigger than we want it to be. And that's simply not the case. I think that's unfortunately the perception that we have with the issue with having more money. And really at this point in time, I feel like I'm in a lot more peace. I really did the not necessarily best approach initially, because I thought in order to create change, I had to create pain. And there was definitely a part of my journey that required my own personal processing and learning to view myself as worthy, and kind of working through some of those beliefs and holding myself through those things. And if you guys see any other videos on my channel, you guys know I talk about 75 Love, and that's really something that I do for myself, kind of my mini thing that I created just to really give myself the intentional space to allow myself to take up more space in my life and my routine, to prioritize myself in that way. And when I first started doing this, I think I thought everything had to be really hard. I thought it really had to be a struggle. You needed to, you know, suffer in order to create change. And now I'm really aware of where I allow myself to feel pain and how I allow myself to feel and process things. But I'm very much in a place of like, okay, it gets to be easy. And we can talk about that in a different video. I don't think you're going to become some crazy version of yourself in order for this to work and be okay. I think a lot of times we have that expectation that everything in your life has to change. It doesn't have to be that. If you want it to be that, that's great, but there's other avenues for that, and it can just simply be that you learn to let it be easy, and that you're not suddenly doing everything that kind of is counterintuitive to why you're probably wanting to do this course in the first place, which you want to receive money and have it be easier every single day. And yet you're probably still carrying that mindset of, okay, well, I'm going to have to work, and it's going to have to be harder, and I'm going to have to do all of these things. And again, that's counterintuitive to probably why you're wanting to sign up for it. And it's okay that that's a fear for you. It might take you some time to kind of get to the other side of that and to understand that you have a choice in how you kind of carry that energy in your brain, which may sound really vague right now. I can, like I said, talk about it in a different video, but no, you don't have to become some crazy different version of yourself that you would never believe is you. If you've been burned by mindset work before, is this actually different? I think there's a few things that really help me the most with this work. Kind of have to understand why you're doing the thing as much as what you're doing. So I will say this, I went through the entire course, I went through all of this stuff, and I didn't recognize that I kind of built in this idea that I just needed to punish myself energetically. Like, oh, things always had to be hard. That was the expectation for me. That had been this really safe version of my reality. I just kind of lived in that, you know, idea of like I'll hit the hardest, I'll hit the rock bottom, and suddenly it'll become easy. And the decision to let it be easy and the decision to stop choosing the hard was a choice for me. And so I think with mindset work, there are things that kind of live in our brain, patterns that exist already that we have to understand that unfortunately nobody else is gonna point out as easily. You just have to stay open to understanding that this version doesn't feel safe, it doesn't feel like ease, it doesn't feel like you want it to, and then you open yourself up to the opportunity to click on a video that doesn't make sense to you or watch something or see something. So in saying that, when you're going through this course, it gives you the way that it's set up now, because it's different than it was before, is within the app you have to kind of complete the thing before to get to the next thing, and that's fine. It's not that big of a deal to complete it. I would say, you know, if you want to listen to it all the way through the first time and just let it sit with you and then go back and through and do all of the journal prompts, there's not a wrong way to do this. It's just in a way that actually supports you. And I think that's kind of what you have to remember, and what you'll learn throughout doing this process is that at the end of the day, it's all about finding the energetic version of you that is gonna let yourself have this thing, that's gonna let yourself receive, that's gonna let yourself trust and find ease with money. And if you are doing every single thing in the coursework and pursuing it all in a way where you're like answering every question and kind of choosing to deep dive into things because that's what you believe that you need in order to feel worthy, it's going to be hard for you to continue to manifest money on the other side of doing this thing. So let it be the thing that you do with the way that works for you, with the way that you start to understand how things kind of live in your brain and how you've been taught to understand things. Because I think sometimes we want to help and want to give examples and advice, but like I can give things from me really specifically and try to help you understand how they work in my brain, but the pieces of that puzzle might not come together in the same way in your brain. I think what you might find, and I think what I found really true, is that over time you'll recognize that this idea is very true, that energy is a thing, working with energy is a thing. There's a very subtle situation happening in our sphere all of the time, and yet there's certain things that are going to be just strictly true for you, and you have to learn how to understand working with your brain, how to let yourself have that quiet space, how to understand all of these things if somebody else is not feeding it step by step to you. And that kind of shifts in a powerful way. But I think Money Mentality Makeover gives you a really strong foundation for getting to know yourself and your brain, to get to understand yourself in a deeper way, to take off those layers of just, okay, the money experience you're having isn't one that you want to be having. You want something to happen differently for you. Great. This is gonna help you deconstruct in a big way. And then from there, you will continue to have access to stuff where maybe it's energetically things that you're carrying that you no longer would be carrying, things that you want to change. I think the biggest thing that people don't recognize as important is your ability to stay consistent in an energetic state. And when you're trying to understand that this can work in a different way, it's not just that you're about to sit here and be given a checklist that you can check off every single day, because you'll be given the tools to understand how most people understand manifesting. There are some tweaks to it that I've seen from other human beings, but in general, there tends to be a list that people have, and then, you know, you kind of throw away the list once you understand certain elements of things. What's more important and what's more impactful is it's not a one-time thing. This isn't that you're going to sit down and you're going to do all of this work right now to create all of this change, because life is an ever-evolving thing. You're going to be living, you're going to be worrying in a way that you don't recognize it, maybe initially is actually causing you to not have the thing. It's kind of similar to the gym. It's a thing that you have to help yourself maintain, and having this space. And because the beginning of this is, yes, here are the tangible things. Here's how you're kind of guiding yourself through this self-therapy, and how you're understanding how this might not have been the only way or the best way or the way that you needed it to be when you were younger. You're understanding all of these different opportunities that were never presented to you. You'll get that base. But the other part of it, the biggest part of it, is continual support of feeling like you have safety in this emotional space, that money can be safe, that you can be supported in this way, that you're not the only one in your life who's trying to go about this change. And that's been probably the biggest thing for me. The money that I invested into the course, I manifested within the first few weeks. That was an email out of nowhere from a brand. Hey, we want to do this thing. We'll pay you whatever. Done, easy. You'll see a lot of people in the first few weeks of the course manifesting money left, right, and out of nowhere. What I think though it ends up being is that this becomes something that just helps you energetically maintain, that you pop on the video that you need whenever you need it, in whatever way, that you kind of just stay in Amanda's world and you hear the thing that feels most relevant to you, or you might do what I do, which is think, I kind of feel a little bit stuck on this in my brain, and I don't necessarily know that I know the way, but maybe there's something in this space that just giving myself permission to hold this different energy and to believe in this different way. I'll open the app and I'll just look and be like, what do I feel kind of guided to do? Where do I scroll and then my eyes see the thing and I click on the video, and it just gives you permission in a way to release the energy that you're carrying and to open yourself up to the next version of you. And it's very practical, but it's also very spiritual. And when you understand that the spiritual side is going to transform the things that you want to transform, the practical is going to be helpful. You will use it, you will benefit from it, it will do things. But the spiritual and the other side of it is really what's going to help you create the biggest level of change. You'll look at it and you'll think, it does everything that it's meant to do. It continues to do everything that it's meant to do. I continue to get new modules, new everything. Like, you are always going to get even more off of your investment because you're going to have space to grow into that version of you that you want to grow into. The version of you who has, maybe you're not like, I want $1 million months. That seems kind of crazy, because I think that number might trigger you, but you might think, okay, how do I mentally prepare myself to take these next steps to actually be somebody who has money? What does it look like for me to start investing? You know, what are some of the things that, like, you couldn't ask anybody around you naturally? Like, it would be weird to ask some of your friends, you know, I really need to save this digit number on taxes, and your friends may not even have that as a relevant question. You're really putting yourself in the room with people who operate in that space and want to experience things in a different way. But if you guys are interested in just more ease, I think the one kind of thing I can end you with here though is that, and this is any advice that I would give to anybody who's taking this, who has taken it and might just feel a little bit stuck, is that don't cling to the course in such an intense way. It is really a very energetic space. Like I said, the practical stuff is there. The practical stuff will help you. There's a lot of things that will serve you and you will know what you need, and that's okay. But letting yourself kind of have it as a safe space when you need it, letting yourself kind of feel drawn to it when it feels necessary versus when it feels like, these days when it comes to anything self-development, I only click on anything in any kind of category when it feels like, okay, I really have to have something from this space. Like, it has to be a repeated thing. I don't buy 70,000 self-help books anymore. I don't spend all of my time doing the work. I spend most of my time living, because what you'll come to recognize is that I had to learn how to just be happy, how to understand what it meant for me to be happy, what it meant for me to have ease, to feel ease, to let things be easy. And the more I do that, the more I let that self be the grounding thing for me, the more everything else falls in place. But I started this, I think, the way a lot of people do, and you want to change things around money. You want it to be different. You need it to kind of shift into this bigger reality. But what you really want is to feel safe. What you really want is to feel like it's okay. What you really want is permission to dream. What you really want is for there to be ease and to know that you're okay. And that comes in a different way. It will come alongside the money. It will be something that opens up more opportunities for you. But this kind of gives you the first part of breaking everything apart and understanding more deeply how you've been interacting with money and the ways that things have been working and what's not working. And then as you grow, it will continue to give you that energetic space to kind of come back to. But it's definitely not the foundation of everything for me. It helps me release a lot of things. It helps me be a touchstone for things. It continues to give back to me, but I'm not somebody who listens to it every single day or plays it all the time or constantly has it like as a repeat part of my day. It is an available tool when I need it, and it will change your life and it can do marvelous things for you. But the version of you who already has this thing, who wants this thing, learn to let it be easy. And that sometimes we don't know that we've taught ourselves that we have to struggle. We didn't realize that we weren't letting it be easy. We just kind of were so numb to the experience of pain that we didn't know that we could do it a different way. And that is this page. So I love you guys. I hope this review helped. As always, links are down below. Make sure that you check them out. Definitely hop on for the waitlist or sign up for whatever is best for you. If you're ready to sign up for the book, pick whatever's working in your space, because honestly, when you're ready to take the jump, you'll know. You will know. I did it, and I remember thinking, oh, I kind of wonder, like I had a whim in my head of, I wonder when Mentality Makeover is going to go again. Like it just kind of passed through my brain. Not thinking I was going to sign up, not thinking I was ready, not thinking it was even remotely going to be the time for me. And then like the next day I saw that it was happening and I was like, okay, I guess it's the universe nudging me that way. So if you're ready, it'll be perfect. If you're not ready, there are other things that you might find more suited to you. Do what works best for you. So, love you guys. See you in a new video soon.